Hello, hope everybody's doing well. I'm so excited. I have Dr. Kennita Williams coming on with me. Kennita has a wealth of information. She is a 25-year military spouse herself. Her husband served for 26 years. Let's see if we can get Kennita on here. I met Kennita actually online, I think 4 years ago at a Writers and Speakers conference. And I right away thought Kennita is special. And so Kennita, I've gotten to know a little bit more over the last couple of months, and she is very special, y'all. Kennita comes to us with a wealth of wisdom and experience. Her husband was an Air Force man for 26 years, and they were married 25 of it. So you deserve lots of medals for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Kennita also has her doctorate in Divinity and Christian leadership, which I just finished up my seminary degree. And so, wow, Kennita, I have a lot of admiration that you've done that because I know how much reading and writing goes into that. But then I realized even more once I saw that we are kindred spirits, girls, because we are nerds. And we enjoy that. So Kennita has come on to talk to us about mentors, and she has so much wonderful information, and I wish we had longer. Also, Kennita is making a sacrifice. She is a speaker right now at an event, and she has made time for us, so we are very special. So thank you, Kennita. Is there anything you want to say before we get started?
No, I'm just glad to be here, Beth. I'm super excited. I am in Blue Ridge right now. I'm looking at the mountains. So I tried to let you see a little bit of the goodness that's going on behind me right now. But I'm just excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Sure. I can see it's very green. I live where actually it's really green right now, but it's not normally very green. So I appreciate the green. It's a little brown here, but we have the mountains.
Yeah.
Oh, Kennita, Lauren Shanti Brown said, love Dr. Kennita, sissy. So I just thought I'd tell you that.
I love you too.
Okay, so Kennita actually at her conference is speaking on mentors. And when I found out she was doing that, I was like, oh, you have to come on with my audience of military spouses. So the first question is, why do you think military spouses need mentors?
Yeah, I think that is a great question. I love mentorship, and mentorship is important because I feel like mentorship, what it does for you, it helps you get past all the pitfalls and the bumps that you do not have to go through. You do not have to go through things if you have someone walking alongside of you that's already been there. So when it comes to mentorship, look for someone that has already been where you're trying to go, and it will be a lot easier of a path if you have someone that has already done it.
Yeah, and let's just be realistic. And I loved my journey as a military spouse. I loved it. They're my favorite people in the world, but it was real hard at first.
Yeah.
And so we need mentors. It's not a normal life. It's a good life, but it's not a normal life. And so it's kind of like if we were going through an obstacle course. We need somebody who has been through that obstacle course before and survived.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. 100%. It takes a special person to be a military spouse. And if you can link arms with someone who's already been there or has done it for a while, why not do it? Do it. Save yourself some heartache, save yourself some disappointment.
Great. Okay, I hope y'all are out there listening because Kennita is speaking some wisdom. Okay, next question. What type of mentors do you need?
Oh, good. You know what? I think this is something that I didn't get the full picture of for myself. So I thought, okay, that mentor that I have is going to have everything I need because I like where they are. I like what they're doing. But then I realized here recently, and it was just very recent, Beth, that I realized that you need mentors for every area that you're working in. When you think of like someone that's a basketball guru and they made it to the draft, the first thing they do, they put them in line with a financial coach. They put them in line with someone that's going to help them with their physical fitness, someone that's going to help them with their mental health. So look for people in your area that you know you need strength in. If you need strength with learning how to organize, if you need strength at learning how to speak. Right now I'm at a writers conference talking to people about mentorship and connecting with people that are writing like you're writing, doing what you're doing. So you find people that need to fill the gap and help you strengthen the areas that you need strength in.
Great. Yeah, and just when you and I were chatting, help me remember here some of the areas we talked about that you might need mentors. And I also think with the military life, like our life is always changing because our community is always changing. You're getting a new assignment, you're getting a new job, you're going overseas, deployments. So help me. I know we mentioned you could need parenting, marriage, financial.
Financial. Yeah, and
Um,
even just, even from a mentorship, just how to friend in the right way, right? Like, even it comes to that, when you're having like these hard things to get community and to get friendship, find someone that you can link with and tell what is a healthy relationship when it comes to having a friend, especially in the military community, moving so often, and being able to have to find a group. So finding groups that are doing what you're doing. I think we talked about it offline about how if you have children and you're trying to figure things out, find a good MOPS group, find a group that has, and start there. Some military spouses that I talk to don't want to get out, and after COVID it's hard to get out the house, and if they're introverts it's harder. So start with having not just a single coffee date. Go to a MOPS group where there's a group of you around, and you have some likes that you're doing together, and things that life happens to have you in that season of your life right now. Find a MOPS group and slowly work yourself into a group, and then maybe you'll find one or two people that you can even make a more intimate friendship or mentorship with.
Yes. And I love when we were chatting earlier how you talked about when we're a military spouse, we need to find a military spouse that's been around a little bit longer. Maybe one of the more senior military spouses, and kind of say, hey, would you be willing to have coffee with me? And I loved, this is all Kennita. I'm just restating it, what you said earlier, but you said, hey, how can I come alongside you and serve with you and learn from you? Because we do live in a busy world. And some people, I have the capacity to meet somebody for coffee a time or two, but I have 4 regular women that I meet with every single week. So I don't always have the capacity, but if somebody came alongside and said, hey, how can I serve alongside you?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could find a place for them to serve.
Yeah, and I think that's so important. And I meet people all the time, and they want to jump all the way to the top. They want to be, and that's good. I love your zeal. I love you wanting to get in the trenches and do the things. But like I said, with the mentor, they've already been there. They know the bumps and bruises. They know what it takes to get where you're trying to go. So come alongside of them. Ask how you can serve. Ask how you can volunteer. And then you never know where that will lead, and you never know the connections they will lead you to, because being in a military community, remember, we move a lot. So that senior person has did a lot of moves already,
Yep.
and they've been in different areas. Maybe you'll get stationed at a base where her friend is. You never know where that can lead you, and it does take a little humbling, when you're starting a group and you already have a little following and a group going on, but it doesn't make you less than. It's actually strengthening you because it's making you better. So coming aside someone that's been doing it already, humble yourself, go in that space, try to see where you can serve, and you never know where that will lead you.
Yeah. And before you know it, you're going to be that more senior spouse and you can bring up people behind you. And I love the way you said, say, how can I come alongside you? I remember when I was a new military spouse, um, I met a woman who was very experienced, very accomplished. And she did meet with me some for coffee, but she didn't have a ton of time. So one time she invited me to go to the grocery store with her. We grocery shopped together and we spent time while we were grocery shopping. But I think that really modeled for me, like, she was like, hey, I want to invest in you, but like I don't have unlimited time. So, this week, if we're going to spend time together, it's going to be in the commissary.
And it's okay. It's okay because there's learning moments from that too, right? If you're
Oh,
young and you're just doing that,
she taught me
someone.
about budgeting and couponing.
There you go. There you go. I mean, you never know what you're getting, so you have to open yourself up to be able to receive.
Yes. Okay, so what are some suggestions you have for a military spouse to find a mentor? Especially, I'm thinking of that military spouse right now that's like about to move, or maybe she did move and she's lonely and she's sitting inside her base house and maybe she's on her device. How do you have suggestions for
Yeah.
her how to find a mentor?
Well, it's a lot easier than it was when I started 25, 26, 27, and I'm going to stop right there years ago, right? Like, it's a lot easier now because you have social media, you have the groups that are out there. You can easily chime into like the different groups that are out. If you're going to a new base, you can literally go on Facebook, Instagram, and search
Yes.
groups at Eglin Air Force
Yes.
Base, groups at Herbert Field, wherever, new spouse groups, or you can actually go on there, and most pages, most bases have their own page these days.
Yes.
So they'll have their page, and you can even say, I'm a cupcake maker moving to the area or whatever.
Right.
I see it all the time because I'm still plugged into our local bases.
Sure.
I see it all the time, and I look for different things that the new spouses are bringing to our area, and it's an opportunity. Maybe if you reach out and put what you're doing or what you're plan on bringing to the area, because all of us have our little small businesses and we're doing things. If you're selling soap, candles, whatever, you put it out there, and I guarantee the right people will find it. The people will see it. If you put yourself out there, even as simple as that, as saying, hey, I make candles, I make spa cream, I make something, and I'm coming to Eglin Air Force Base. We're going to be stationed there. That will open up 5 or 6 things where people will see it, and you can really find a good community and group before you even get there.
Yeah, and I think that's a great resource too, that like our last couple of bases, I used it to find my people, and I was not an entrepreneur back then, but I would just say, hey, I like to do this. Who likes to do this? And it's a little scary to put yourself out there, but I learned after I'd been a military spouse for a while that I didn't want to go through 6 months of being lonely at new places. So I just had to say, okay, I'm going to jump in, and it's a risk, but it is well worth the risk.
And especially, Beth, when you're at a remote base, like I was at Eielson Air Force Base,
Yes.
Alaska. When I went there, it was dark, it was cold, people weren't even coming out their houses. Yeah, and so it paid to go on to the site and see what was going on at the base. What do they do in all this darkness and coldness? Where do you go? And people will respond. And you can make a choice. If it's something that you think that's interesting and great, and a group that you think is good, you have that option still, but you'll never know unless you reach out.
Yeah, and I would say too, on our bases, we have organizations that put together groups for us. There's a good place to go for a resource. On Air Force bases, they're called the Airman Family Readiness Center. I think they might be called Military Readiness Center now. You've got your chapels on the Army. They're called Family Readiness Groups. Some bases have arts and crafts or arts and hobby stores. So, you just have to kind of go and ask and see what's around. I know some of the bases we were at, I took craft classes and learned how to do things, and I'm not very crafty. I'm not really good at that kind of stuff, but I knew I needed people. So I just said, I'm going to go get out of my comfort zone.
Yep, exactly that. There's always something. I mean, I would put together groups. We would do Instapot meal classes at
Meal
Family
prep.
Readiness. We would do different things like that. Family Readiness is a good resource, definitely, for sure. I know in the Air Force Base, that's what we call it. My sister's on the line right now. That's what she works directly for, is the Military Readiness Center.
Okay, well, good.
The Air Force.
Good, Kennita, sister. I'm glad I corrected myself at the right time. Thank you for helping keep us straight. Well, we're at our time, Kennita, but I really appreciate this, guys. I want to encourage you to follow Kennita. She's Kennita Williams. She has a ton of information. She's an author and a speaker. She does conferences. And she's just a really special person. So I want to encourage you to follow her, look her up online. And
Yes.
Kennita, thanks so much for making time, especially when you're already speaking at this conference. I really appreciate it. And I really look forward to us continuing to be
Yes.
friends.
Absolutely, Beth, and thank you for having me. And my new website is www.clearvisionleader.com.
Okay,
www.clearvisionleader.com. And so definitely all things Clear Vision, all things Kennita Williams is on that website, and definitely more to come on there. So I thank you so much for having me, Beth.
great.
And
And I will put that when I share this to Instagram. And I will share this in a minute, and you'll get the option to add it to your page if you want to as well.
thank you so
All right.
much. This has been
Thanks,
great.
Kennita.
And
I
yeah,
hope you have
go
safe
find a good
travels.
mentor. Go find a
Yes.
good mentor.
Go find you a mentor right now. Come
Yes.
up with a plan for this week, how you're going to do something to find a mentor.
Yes.
All right. Thanks
Absolutely.
so much, Kennita. Have a great rest of your time there at
Thank
the
you.
conference.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.